The red dust of Kepler 442b swirled around Lisa's boots as she checked the atmospheric readings on her wrist display. The colony had been established for 3 months now, and they still knew precious little about the native fauna. Her partner Alex was 50 meters behind, cataloging mineral samples near the ridge. "Lisa, don't wander too far," his voice crackled through her helmet comm. The motion sensors picked up something large moving through Sector 7 earlier. "Copy that," she replied, her eyes scanning the rocky terrain. The planet's twin suns cast strange double shadows across the rust-colored landscape, making it difficult to distinguish between geological formations and living creatures. That's when she heard it, a high-pitched whine that sent chills down her spine despite the temperature-controlled suit. Lisa froze, her hand instinctively moving to the plasma cutter at her hip. Not a weapon, exactly, but it could serve as one in an emergency. Between two massive boulders, something moved. Lisa approached slowly, her heart hammering against her ribs. The creature was unlike anything in their xenobiology database. It stood roughly half a meter tall, with 6 legs and a body covered in what appeared to be crystalline plates that refracted the double sunlight into prismatic patterns. But what caught her attention immediately was its gait. The creature was limping badly, its rear left leg dragging uselessly behind it. "Alex," she whispered into her comm, "I've got visual on an injured juvenile, species unknown. It's looking right at me." The creature's eyes, 3 of them, arranged in a triangular pattern, fixed on her with an intelligence that made her breath catch. This wasn't some mindless animal. Those eyes held awareness, calculation, perhaps even understanding. "Lisa, back away slowly." Alex's voice was urgent now. "We don't know if it's venomous, It's hurt, Alex, badly. Look at the thermal scan I'm sending you." She activated her suit's medical scanner, and the data painted a grim picture. The creature's injured leg showed signs of a severe fracture, and its core temperature was dropping, hypothermia, despite the warm ambient air. Without intervention, it wouldn't survive the night. Lisa knelt down, extending her gloved hand slowly. The cub, that's what she decided to call it, tilted its head, crystalline plates shifting to create a sound like wind chimes. It took one halting step toward her, then another. "Easy," she murmured. "I'm not going to hurt you." That's when the ground began to vibrate. At first, Lisa thought it was a quake. The planet was geologically active after all. But the rhythm was too regular, too purposeful. The vibration grew stronger, and suddenly the rocks around her seemed to come alive. They weren't rocks. One by one, massive forms unfolded from the landscape. Adult versions of the cub, each one standing nearly 3 meters tall, their crystalline armor catching and refracting light in dazzling displays. Lisa's suit counted 12, then 15, then 20 of them, emerging from camouflage so perfect that her equipment hadn't registered them as living creatures. The pack surrounded her in a loose circle, and Lisa's throat went dry. "Alex," she said quietly, fighting to keep her voice steady, "I need you to listen very carefully. Do not approach. Do not make any sudden movements, and absolutely do not try to use any weapons." "Lisa, I'm looking at your vitals. Your heart rate is through the roof. What's happening?" "I'm surrounded by approximately 20 adult specimens. They're not attacking, they're just watching." The largest of the creatures, likely the pack leader, stepped forward. Its crystalline plates shifted through colors that Lisa's translator AI struggled to interpret. Ultraviolet patterns danced across its armor in what might have been communication. The cub whimpered again, and Lisa understood. They weren't surrounding her as predators. They were protecting their young. "I'm going to help," Lisa said aloud, unsure if the creatures could understand her but needing to try. She slowly reached for her medical kit, moving with exaggerated care. "Your child is injured. I'm a medic. Do you understand, Medike?" The pack leader's 3 eyes tracked her every movement. Lisa withdrew a portable bone knitter, standard equipment for colonists working in dangerous terrain. The device was designed for human physiology, but she'd modified dozens of them for various Earth animals during her veterinary training. She could adapt. She activated the scanner, analyzing the cub's bone structure. Carbon-based, denser than human bone, but the fracture pattern was straightforward. The bone knitter hummed to life, and she calibrated it to emit a different frequency. The cub flinched when she approached, but the pack leader made a sound, a deep, resonant note that seemed to vibrate through Lisa's chest even through her suit. The cub went still. Lisa worked quickly but carefully, holding the injured leg steady while the bone knitter did its work. The device used focused ultrasonic waves to stimulate cellular regeneration, and she could see on her display that it was working. The fracture line began to close, new bone matrix forming at an accelerated rate. 20 minutes passed, the pack didn't move, neither did Lisa. Finally, the bone knitter chimed completion. Lisa withdrew it slowly and backed away. The cub tested its leg tentatively, then with more confidence. It chirped, a sound of joy, and bounded toward the pack leader, who lowered its massive head to nuzzle the young one. Then something extraordinary happened. The pack leader approached Lisa, and she forced herself to stand her ground. It lowered its head until they were at eye level, and Lisa saw her own reflection multiplied in those three enormous eyes. The creature's crystalline plates began to shift, creating patterns that made her translator AI go wild with possible interpretations. But Lisa didn't need a translation. She understood. The creature was thanking her. It stepped back, and from somewhere within its armor it produced a small crystal, perfectly formed, glowing with an internal light. The creature placed it carefully on the ground between them, then retreated. One by one, the pack melted back into the landscape, their camouflage so perfect that within moments, Lisa stood alone with the injured cub and the glowing crystal. "Lisa," Alex's voice was shaking. "I've been watching through your helmet cam. Did they just give you a gift?" Lisa picked up the crystal carefully. It was warm to the touch, even through her gloves, and it pulsed with a steady rhythm that matched her heartbeat. "I think they did more than that, Alex. I think they just made first contact." She looked out across the red desert, knowing that dozens of eyes were watching her from their perfect hiding spots. The colony's mission had been to explore and establish a foothold on Kepler 442b. They'd expected to find resources, perhaps primitive life. They hadn't expected to find people. "Alex," she said, cradling the crystal, "call the colony. Tell them to hold all expansion plans. We're not alone here, and we need to do this right." As she made her way back to Alex, Lisa glanced back once. For just a moment the camouflage flickered and she saw them, the entire pack, watching over their territory, protecting their young. The cub sat at the pack leader's feet, its leg fully healed. It chirped once, a sound that needed no translation. "Goodbye, thank you, friend." Lisa smiled behind her helmet and continued home, carrying humanity's first gift from another intelligent species, knowing that everything had just changed.